Well, good morning, everybody. It's Mike Bays from the 24/7 Home Show. And today we have a very special guest with us. It's Sarah Senderhauf, who is the sales director at L&D Construction. So good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Good. Well, we have a really interesting subject, I think, today, which is accessory dwelling units, which most people probably have no idea what that means, but it's something that's, I think, pretty important and interesting that's happening in Denver and across the country. They know them more as other names, but why don't you tell them what an accessory dwelling unit is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting time in Denver. There were some laws changed in 2010 for zoning that started to allow accessory dwelling units in the Denver area. Basically what they are, it's a carriage house. Parts of the country they're referred to as alley flats, possibly garage apartments. It's a second dwelling in the back of your property.
Okay, so these are basically second residence on a homeowner's property. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what type might you see? Obviously, garage apartment. What other type of thing would people have as an accessory dwelling unit?
These could be used for office space. It's basically just to offer more flexibility for your home, for your property. They can be used as a rental income, a place for family to come and stay, just to add a little bit more flexibility to your home and to your property.
Okay, so when I read up on these a little bit, they have numerous appeals. I mean, one is as a rental property, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if I built a apartment above my garage, I could then rent that out if I'm zoned for an accessory dwelling unit, and derive income from it, obviously. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these could be used as a short-term rental or a longer-term rental. Either way, you do have to either live in the main house or in the accessory dwelling unit. So we won't be seeing investors coming in and renting out both units. So you, as the homeowner, you will need to be living in either the main house or in the dwelling unit.
Okay, and you could also use them for, short-term rentals. People need it for the weekend. What are those places called?
Yeah, for Airbnb or any type of short-term rental.
But you don't have to.
No, not at all. It'll be, left up to the homeowner and what they want to do with the property.
So what type of accessory dwelling units are there? There's garage apartments. That's an apartment over your garage. What else?
You can also convert your basement into a separate unit, which could be another option. So you would have a kitchen, bathroom, and a living quarters down there with a separate entrance that a renter could potentially use as well. So it can be attached to the main house, or it can be detached above a garage, or just simply another small home in your backyard.
I know that your partner and the president of L&D, isn't he doing an accessory dwelling unit in his yard?
He is, yeah. We actually pouring the foundation yesterday, so we're going to be framing on that one here soon. And that is going to be, it'll be a 2-car garage with a living quarters above. He'll have about 800 square feet of living space that he's planning to use for short-term rental and just to have space for family to stay when they come into town to visit.
So maybe the in-laws or something like that are going to stay up there, and then he's going to rent it sometimes too? Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, so it'll be a lot more flexibility for him and his growing family.
Yes, his 2 beautiful children. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of folks, having been around this world a long time, do basements or home additions basically for in-laws or guests when children have a tendency to show up in the family when they need more space. So this can really serve 2 functions, right? You can both have the flexibility of using it for your in-laws or whoever, as well as renting it out when they're not around.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And we see so many people right now that are wanting to stay in the space where they're living, not necessarily wanting to move to the suburbs or a different area, but wanting to stay in these neighborhoods where they are right now. So they're looking at how they can expand their property, how they can get additional square footage to stay in the neighborhoods where they're really enjoying living.
Yeah, which is certainly David's case. So that brings up a good question, which is, okay, can you put an accessory dwelling unit, meaning in a garage apartment or a basement apartment or a standalone residence, anywhere in Denver, or are there zoning regulations?
There are zoning regulations, and it really varies throughout the city. You'll have one neighborhood where these will be allowed and another neighborhood where they're not. There are some of the outlying areas like Arvada, where all of Arvada this is approved for, all of Lakewood it's approved for, but we really have to take a look at the neighborhoods in Denver to see if your property would be approved for this.
So can you help them with that? If somebody goes, boy, that's a good idea, I live close to DU or I live close to mines up in Golden or whatever, can you figure out for them if they're zoned for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way is just to go ahead and contact me and have us take a look at your property, read through the zoning laws. The zoning regulations can be a bit overwhelming for people, and so reaching out to us and letting us take a look and just letting you know a simple yes or no if you're allowed to do this on your property is probably the easiest.
Great. And actually, why don't we walk through kind of the steps then? Let's say I'm a Denver homeowner and am interested in a garage apartment or my basement. I think that's a great idea, converting my basement into an ADU. Might even already be finished, but just some additional things you have to do to be an ADU. Do you know what those are? What are the additional requirements besides building the space to be?
Well, we'll have to look at what the actual footprint of your home is. You can only cover a certain percentage on the lot. So we'll have to take a look. Is there already a garage on the property? Do you have outbuildings on the property that these might have to be torn down or just reconstructed in a way to give you that ability to build an ADU? And then of course, just checking the zoning as well to make sure that that you're approved.
Now, an ADU needs to have its own separate address. So even if even if I convert my basement, I think there's some requirements there. I need a separate entrance or something, separate.
Yeah, there will be a separate address for the property as well. It will be on the same water, sewer, and electrical tap, though. So you'll have a separate address for the unit, but the meters will all be together.
Okay. Is it hard to get a separate address for an ADU or for a?
No, it's just a matter of getting a permit in, and as long as your property is approved for the ADU, then the city will assign that address.
Okay, so if I live in Denver or some of the suburbs, Golden, Arvada, Westminster, some of those areas, especially if I'm like close to a college or if I'm close to downtown Denver, where housing has become so expensive, an ADU might make a lot of sense, both for the in-laws or an office and then renting out. How much activity do you see on this right now? I know there's 3,500 carriage houses in Denver, but they weren't zoned originally as ADUs. They were just carriage houses.
Right.
And having spent a lot of time in a few of those growing up in Park Hill, I know how great they are. But do you see a lot of activity on this?
We're definitely starting to see a lot more activity, which is really exciting. Since the zoning laws in 2010, there haven't been a ton of permits pulled, in the Denver metro area. But I've definitely started hearing a lot more talk about ADUs, and also just with more people moving to the Denver area and looking for additional rental income, it's a great opportunity right now for people.
Nice. What Sarah's laughing at is you guys can't see this, but we can see each other. So I was making faces at her. It seems to me that this is really kind of cool. I mean, I've got friends who live in the Highlands and those type of areas where this is perfect. I think we're not seeing we haven't seen a whole bunch because people don't know what it is and how to use it. But I think we're going to see it explode personally because
Yeah,
the cost of housing. Where else is this big in the country?
You see a lot of these up in the Portland area, Vancouver, also down in Austin. I was just recently up in Portland for a couple months ago, doing a home tour up there, taking a look at the ADUs that they're building. So it's really exciting to see what they've done in Portland and seeing that starting to happen here in Denver.
Okay, what are some of the resources people can use to investigate accessory dwelling units? I know there's a big site in Portland, but there's also the L&D site. So tell them where they can get more information. Also tell them how to contact you in case they're interested. And I think you have a group going on Facebook about this, so we can tell them how to join that and get updates.
Yeah, absolutely. Following us on our Facebook page is a great way to find out more about these ADUs and just information in the area. The web page, the Facebook page is Accessory Dwelling Units Denver. So you can go in and like that page. We'll be having some educational events coming up over the next several months, and we'll be advertising all of those there. You can also email me, Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at lndconstructiondenver.com. Feel free to give me a call, 720-883-2717.
Okay, and we've just put the website up. It's not a great, the way it's displayed here isn't great, but the website is ldconstructiondenver.com. And if you go to the blog, there's a lot of information on ADU, and they'll be putting a section up too. Well, Sarah, I think this was very interesting. Do you have an event coming up? I know, folks might be watching this in the year 2017, but some might catch it earlier. What type of events do we have coming up to sit down and discuss this stuff?
We'll be having an event on November 29th at Scratch Burrito, 44th and Lowell. It's going to be from 5:30 to 7. Be a great opportunity for people to pop in, get some questions answered, take a look at some plans, and just get some more information to see if it's something that'll work for them. In the upcoming months, we'll probably be having some monthly events, monthly meetings as well for you to join us.
The Scratch Burrito? Who would want to skip that? Actually, I've been there, and it's very good, so it'll be a good little thing. I want to thank you for joining us today. What's the phone number they can reach you at?
720-883-2717.
Very good. So, and again, you can go to ldconstructiondenver.com and get Sarah's information off that blog about accessory dwelling units. We really appreciate it, Sarah. I hope all of you have a great day, and we will follow up with you or David to see how all this is going, but it sounds very interesting. And thanks again, Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
See you soon.